All right, good to have you with us here on CTV News Channel. We are going to go to Manitoba right now with a COVID-19 update. Let's listen in.
First off, I want to wish all Manitobans a happy and healthy new year. While the last 20 months have been a challenging time, I'm confident that we will get through this together, and brighter, happier, and healthier days are ahead of us. I want to thank Manitobans who altered or canceled their plans over the holiday season to help limit the spread of this virus and protect themselves, their loved ones, and their community. As we continue to deal with the challenges of COVID-19 and learn more about the impacts of the Omicron variant, I want to thank the healthcare workers across our province who have worked tirelessly to provide quality care throughout this pandemic. Thank you for your dedication and commitment to your patients and their families, especially during these difficult times. Our government's #1 priority is to protect the health and well-being of all Manitobans, especially our most vulnerable. And this is what brings us here today. As a mother of 2, nothing matters more than the health and safety and education of my children. As parents, we want to give our children every opportunity to learn, create, play, chase their dreams safely. As previously announced, students were set to return to the classroom on January 10th, following an extended winter break. Today, we are announcing a 1-week remote learning period beyond January 10th to help ensure schools can implement enhanced measures for the safe return of in-person learning. We know that our youth learn best in a classroom setting. It is our goal to ensure they can return to the classroom as quickly as possible. With that, I'll pass it over to Minister Cullen to provide further details on the announcement today.
Thank you very much, Premier. Cliff Cullen, Minister of Education. Good afternoon, everyone, and Happy New Year. I do want to begin by thanking all teachers, school staff, school leaders, school divisions, parents, and caregivers for their dedication to the students of Manitoba. I also want to acknowledge 2 losses over the winter break at J.B. Mitchell School. Teacher Megan Wolf and Principal Paulette Huggins. Their deaths are a tragic loss to our community, and I send my condolences to their family and friends, and the students, and their colleagues. On December 22nd, our government made the announcement to extend winter break until January 10th. Today, we are announcing a phased-in approach for return to school in January, and are shifting to a 1-week remote learning period for most students after the holiday break. This phased-in approach will allow school divisions and schools to have more time to prepare operational plans, including planning for potential staffing shortages and expected absenteeism due to isolation requirements. Discussions with Manitoba Education's response planning team have reinforced the importance of this extra time to plan for a return to class as soon as possible. This planning team has been in place since March of 2020, and it includes the Manitoba Association of School Superintendents, the Manitoba School Board Association, the Manitoba Association of School Board Officials, the Manitoba Teachers Society, Manitoba Federation of Independent Schools, and public health officials. This will ensure public health officials have more time to assess the effects of the Omicron variant. Effective January 10th, this phased-in approach will allow students of critical service workers in kindergarten to grade 6 and at-risk students and students with special learning needs in kindergarten to grade 12 to attend school. Before and after childcare programs will remain open for students of critical service workers and students with special needs who are attending school this week. All other students will learn remotely until they return on January 17th. This extra week of remote learning will provide time for distribution of additional masks and rapid tests to schools across the province. Access to rapid tests for all Manitobans will be expanded as the rapid testing kit supply increases here in Manitoba, particularly for schools with high case counts of the COVID-19. We will also be distributing more than 5 million additional child and adult medical masks over the next 8 weeks to increase existing supply in schools. This time will also provide teachers and those over 18 who are eligible to get their booster shots and students 5 and up to get their second dose. To improve accessibility and increase immunization rates, after-hours school-based clinics will continue for students, for staff, and community members. Our government recognizes there are financial pressures related to wage agreements for teachers, as well as the ongoing impact of COVID-19. Today, we are also announcing an investment of up to $80 million in new funding for Manitoba schools for the 21-22 year. Today's investment will ensure our school system is supported, particularly during COVID. Manitoba has exceptional teachers, school staff, and leaders committed to ensuring students reach their full potential. Our investment will enable schools to continue providing high-quality learning for all Manitoba students. With today's funding announcement, our government has invested an additional $200 million for school operations this year alone. This includes $45 million for a 2% property tax offset grant paid directly to school divisions. We've also increased the operating budget for schools. This year, to date, we have invested $63 million to support the COVID response. I will say that Manitoba has one of the highest per pupil COVID funding allocation in Canada. To date, over $330 per pupil. Almost half of this allocation is going directly into the classroom to support additional teachers and educational assistants. The remainder is being used to fund health and safety measures, ventilation upgrades, remote learning, masks, and personal protective equipment. The school division's plan for the next school year, I want to assure them and you that our government is considering future impacts of the pandemic along with other financial pressures as we go forward. Again, I say to all teachers, school staff, school leaders, school divisions, parents, and caregivers, thank you. This phased-in approach will ensure that in-person learning will continue in the longer term for all students. I want to encourage all those that are eligible to get their next vaccination to please do so. This is so critical for our way and our path forward out of this pandemic. And I'll pack it back to the Premier.
Thank you, Minister Cullen. I also want to commend our teachers, administrators, education, support staff for all they do to keep our children safe. COVID-19 has challenged us in so many ways, and I thank you for your willingness to adapt and find creative and innovative ways to keep our children engaged and able to reach their full potential. We also want our children to be able to attend school in person and participate in their normal extracurricular and social activities and achieve high vaccination rates in both adults and children. Achieving high vaccination rates in both adults and children will be key to ensuring that can continue to happen. I would now like to invite Dr. Jas Atwal to provide an update from Public Health. Jas?
Good afternoon. Thank you, Premier. Thank you, Mr. Cullen. My name is Dr. Jas Atwal. I'm the Deputy Chief Provincial Public Health Officer for Manitoba. We are continuing to see increased COVID-19 daily case numbers and test positivity rates. As we announced earlier this week, we have been deploying rapid antigen tests at several COVID-19 testing sites over the last several days and will continue to do so to increase our testing capacity. Since last Friday, we have reported more than 7,100 positive cases of COVID-19 in Manitoba. These counts are not unexpected. That's why we put a number of public health orders in place to help reduce the spread of the virus. It's why we continue to ask Manitobans to reduce their close contacts. And it's why we're moving forward with today's announcement. We know in-person learning is best for students, but we are still learning about how the Omicron variant will affect our healthcare system and Manitobans in the long term. Given that so much is still unknown about the Omicron variant, we are moving quickly on the return to school option to give parents the time they need to make plans for remote learning next week. This change will allow us more time to study the data we have and provide any needed additional advice to the education sector. Remember, there are things we can all do to help reduce the spread of the virus. Focus on the fundamentals to limit the spread of COVID-19. Limit your contact with others and only get together with immediate family. Stay home when you are sick. Go for testing and isolate until you get your test results. Wear a well-fitting mask, wash your hands frequently, and cover your cough. Thousands of Manitobans have been vaccinated and continue to follow public health orders. We thank you for that. Protect yourself and those around you by getting fully vaccinated or going for your third dose as soon as you are eligible. Thank you, and I will return things back over to the Premier.
Thank you, Dr. Atwell, and thank you to you and Dr. Roussin and your team for your dedication to keeping Manitobans informed, especially as we learn more about the Omicron variant and its impacts on our communities and our healthcare system. Vaccines work, and now more than ever with the Omicron variant circulating throughout Manitoba, it is crucial that all Manitobans get fully vaccinated, including a third dose when eligible. Follow the fundamentals. Stay home when you're sick, get tested, wear a mask, socially distance, and limit your close contacts. We can and will get through this together. Thank you.